Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Ellen.
Tell me your title at Epicor.
So, I am the Principal Product Marketing Manager for EDI and Data Fabric.
And I am the Senior Product Marketing Manager for AI at Epicor.
Nice. Very nice. So, a very modern product.
Yeah.
And EDI, like a product that's, been around for like 35 years.
Yeah.
You might ask, how did we come together to be here?
We've actually worked together before outside of Epicor, and I know that we, even before coming to Epicor, have actually been collaborating a lot together on how we use AI and where we see AI innovations going. And so we're super excited today to kind of get together and actually chat about Epicor's latest research related to AI and the voice of the worker within manufacturing.
It was such a professional way of saying, we're AI nerds.
We are AI nerds.
Yes, we are.
So we're excited to kind of start to talk about this and some of the findings and what this means for manufacturers and where things are going in the AI space.
Yeah.
So let's just start diving in. I want to kind of talk a little bit about this recent report that Epicor has done about voice of essential worker and some of the insights that it called out. I think in particular, one of the things that was noted around the findings is that 73% of organizations are noting that they're seeing cost reductions related to AI, but only 40% of them have done formal training.
Yes. And you know what we're calling that, Ellen?
What do we call that?
We are actually calling that our AI adoption paradox. Sounds very fancy. But basically, it's like highlighting what's essentially an irony there. Like, how is it that we're seeing this, amazing progress from AI, but at the same time, we don't have more people implementing it? Like, what's the story there?
Do you want me to start or do you have thoughts?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
I would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think my thoughts on that front is that really starts to speak to that, one, workers are starting to get hands-on regardless. So in general, people, and in particular manufacturers, see value coming from AI tools that are available. So they're not necessarily waiting for permission. They're just going ahead and moving forward with things and really starting to kind of dive in, get hands-on within AI. Obviously, that comes with its own risk. I know we take security very seriously at Epicor, so that comes with its own risk of if folks are not waiting for IT permission or using, officially sanctioned tools, they're just going ahead and using it. But it does speak to that folks aren't afraid to get hands-on, and they're doing so because they see value.
Yeah,
in getting hands-on.
Our report even qualified that further by saying that like 56% of users are using it like daily. So, it supported that. And, 31% of those users they don't even have that formal training. So regardless, they're going to dive in, they're going to go and pursue it and use it. So, it raises that question of how can we enable them to move faster? What's really interesting to me is where we're seeing that movement be really successful. You would think it would be at your big Fortune 500 companies, but it's actually where we're seeing a lot of really great growth is in mid-size companies.
Yeah. Why mid-size? Like, why not the larger Fortune 500s or other space? Why mid-market?
So it seems to be because mid-market has that ability to move a little bit faster. So it's one of those things where they can move fast, but they're also able to invest meaningfully. Mm-hmm. So there's still, that process and that thought going into things, but also maybe a little bit less committee red tape perhaps is kind of happening.
Yeah.
So, while these bigger companies are getting really stuck in that committee phase, the mid-markets, they're going ahead and able to execute a little bit quicker, and we're seeing that return in the workflows of their workers.
I heard an analogy at one point around it takes more time to steer a large ship of when you think about, if a direction starts going. That makes sense with that analogy, right? Of if you're a smaller company, you've got less bureaucracy to have to work through in order to make decisions, to kind of turn the ship, so to speak, to kind of take advantage of trends. But it seems like that's something that could give manufacturers, especially those within that mid-market space, kind of a competitive edge to that degree.
Yeah.
When we think about getting workers to adopt AI, we're already seeing this, there's kind of this threshold of almost the easier it is to use, the more intuitive it is to use, the more likely that folks are going to need it. But it also kind of ties in with that sense that we have of training of if if it's intuitive, you probably don't have to do as much training. What are your thoughts around that?
I really do agree with that. The more intuitive something is, I feel like there's the less groundwork you have to lay with training, but I do think it's important that companies don't abandon it completely, because I think that's also the thing with AI is we do have to remember it is new, and we are still, getting over a little bit of that initial, let's just call it what it is. There's a little bit of fear around it.
Mm-hmm.
People are a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
For a myriad of reasons that make sense. So, giving them just a few simple tools and sets of guidance can really be helpful. And again, I think that's something that the mid-markets are doing, and that's why they're able to move a little bit faster. I think we're seeing that right here at Epicor, because when you can allow these workers to take these AI tools and put them into their regular workflows, that's where you're seeing a lot of success.
You just tapped into a question I actually wanted to ask. How do you think companies get past the skepticism that comes with adopting AI? Like, what's a key factor in that?
I think one of the ways that you really get past that skepticism is empowering your workers and then lending them the opportunity to share those learnings. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily top down, but it's peer driven. And I think that that's really where you start to see a lot of value, and then you kind of have things catch on like wildfire.
I agree with that. I feel like you and I have seen it even in terms of our use of AI, and as we have been kind of sharing AI learnings, et cetera. It's almost like the more, and I know the research kind of found this within findings as well, 32% of workers, based on this research, anticipate AI will make their jobs easier in the future, but 24% are saying it's already made their jobs easier. It's almost like folks get more confident with AI the more that they get to use it. And I think that then when you talk about that like peer-led, there's a moment of empowerment of, hey, this is making my job easier. Let me help you make your job easier as well.
100%. And it's the more that it's a part of our daily workflows and daily conversations, the more it empowers people to share ideas. I've seen that just in our little area that we like to sit in at work. Product marketing and marketing tends to sit together, but on the other side of us is BDRs. Back behind us can be finance and IT. Literally, I had a call this morning, or maybe it was yesterday, with someone in the finance team who's really great at AI. And this all started because we overheard each other talk about AI one day. Well, now he has helped me set up this amazing workflow that's going to help me with my product marketing work. And, I've had similar conversations with some of the BDR team members, and it's literally us sharing different tools we're using that are applicable across our functions. And so it's amazing what you can do when you start sharing ideas.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really good tie-in with the way that Epicor is approaching building our own AI solutions to make available to makers, movers, and sellers. We're really focused on listening to problems that we can help solve, of what are things that are slowing down workers at companies that we help serve, customers that we are working with. We do direct feedback loops with them to be able to get insights. We're starting to work towards increasingly forward deployment engineering in terms of having actual boots on the ground in a factory or in a warehouse setting, et cetera, to be able to really have folks working directly with the workers who this AI is going to be able to help. Because I think at the end of the day, tying in with what we were just chatting about with skepticism, it's really wanting to make sure that we're empowering folks to be augmented and to make their lives and their jobs better, rather than trying to replace people with AI.
Yes. And I think that is one of the biggest fears that when we talk to different people, that's something that often comes up. And, I was recently talking to some students actually in a program, and that's where they had a lot of fears. And I don't think that it's so much about replacement as it is about adaptation.
Yeah.
There may be some things that we see AI, may replace certain tasks or functions, but that doesn't mean that there aren't new things that are coming out, because there's a new role that exists now that didn't exist before. Like, you're hearing about roles like AI prompt engineering and stuff. That wasn't a role that existed a few years ago. And now that's, something that exists and you can apply for it. So within this landscape of AI, there's tons of new roles coming about. And I think it extends beyond just like in your day-to-day sort of things. I think it's an industry level thing because, we also think about like industry type implications with sustainability.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a ton of different potential roles that get created tied to that. So I think what we're seeing is more of a transformation, and with that transformation will come new opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, too, building on that idea, we get into kind of this space of, we know a lot of companies within the make, move, sell space in particular are having to kind of fight against this, like, there's only so much skilled labor available. There's a lot more work than there used to be in terms of just the volume of things that companies are trying to tackle. We've also seen stuff of like labor market shortages. We know that supply chains are highly unstable with everything that's going on just in the current kind of global market space.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it too with AI tools, you look at it of like, there's more work to go around sometimes than there are people available to do all of the work. And so if this is something that can help speed up maybe some of those repetitive manual pieces that maybe people don't love doing anyway, and really free them up to have the space to focus on other parts of their job that really need more of that brain power that they can provide and AI can't do.
Yeah. So obviously we are AI nerds, but I don't look at AI coming in as wholly good or wholly bad. I just look at it as opportunity across the board. It's a shift, just like, many, many years ago, the internet happened and that created a shift. And before that, there have been tons of shifts across industry.
We've talked about that too, of like, one example that's come up is like ubiquity of cell phones. When you think about like when the first mobile device came up, before we even had smartphones, but like even to the level now, it's like we're all walking around with mini computers in our hands, and you'd be hard pressed to find someone that doesn't have it. But think about the level of connection, capabilities, opportunities that's opened up just in the way of like businesses relying on mobile apps or being able to provide new services, things like that. There's a lot of opportunity that's come up there. I know that we've been chatting around this, but essentially we were wanting to kind of build this conversation around this new report. So if someone is at a maker, mover, seller, and they want to learn more about this report, where can they go to find it?
If you want to learn more and you are totally ready to bridge that gap with AI within your organization, you can download the full Voice of the Essential Worker report at epicor.com/Voice of Essential Worker 2025. And you can see how companies like yours are turning worker-led adoption into competitive advantage.